Speaking of which, we're looking for signs that Boeing may get a move higher in the pre-market. In the CBS interview last night, Dennis Muilenburg apologized to families of those who lost their lives in those MAX crashes. He also defended the safety of the aircraft, saying he'd put his family on a 737 MAX without any hesitation. He was asked about his future with Boeing, too. Take a listen.
Did you ever consider resigning?
No. It's important that I continue to lead the company, and the fact that lives depend on the work we do, whether it's people flying on our commercial airplanes or military men and women around the world who use our defense products, that is a worthy mission.
So he's got the families of those who were killed. He's got consumers who were also spooked about flying. And then, of course, the relationship with carriers. He's got to mend those.
Yeah, I think that, look, this statement should have come. This should have come months ago. It happened, though. I think they're trying to change the overused word narrative. It should have happened months ago, but the work that I've done on it, there was no A-B plan. You read the media, well, you could take the A safety package and the B package. No, that was not true. They have guys going 24/7 to find out what went wrong. They have done a lot of simulator work on this, and it's like it didn't crash, when they simulate. I mean, what I'm saying is basically they're being more responsible than they sounded.
Were they less responsible than they should have been when they actually allowed this to occur?
Less responsive or responsible?
Well, both.
I think the responsible is harder than the responsive. I know that they were not responsive enough. I mean, this interview, I would contend, on the national news, okay, should have happened at the same time that they went around and reassured the pilots and Wall Street. They reassured a lot of people, but they did not reassure the public. And this is, I think that you could argue maybe they weren't allowed to. Maybe that the FAA is a little more powerful than you think, and they were saying, listen, you can't say anything. Maybe they were hamstrung. But this was an important interview in terms of, I think, making it so that, okay, look, mea culpa, but we're fixing this plane. I personally I'd fly in it.
Yeah. Well, the FAA at this point is not going to allow themselves to get fooled again in any way by them,
right? Were they
right?
fooled?
Well, come on. I mean, it didn't look good when you had all these foreign governments banning the airplane and the FAA was standing by.
I mean the FAA being slow.
Yeah.
No, but that's not on Boeing, unless you really think that Boeing controls the FAA, which I do not think. There are many people who are at the FAA who have had experience with Boeing, but I don't think the FAA is as much of a pushover as people think. Now, I know that that's very contrary to what people say, but you can argue, look, I'm partial to Boeing because of their long-term safety record. I think they should be given some benefit of the doubt. And you know who's giving the benefit of the doubt? The market. The stock is barely down, even though it's got China and MAX. And you've got, remember when Gary Kelly was sitting there saying, I'm going to take it up with him. My understanding is that the carriers, while they're not all thrilled, are not they're not changing.
Well, it is $100 off of the high from March, right?
So is everything else, though. I mean, Apple.
We're going to talk about Apple and Katie Huberty today.
What a
her note, I know. By the way,
she rigorous.
Regarding Boeing, stay tuned this morning for an interview with Oscar Munoz of United Airlines, one of the carriers that's gotten some upgrades lately. Morgan Stanley took it to overweight late.
Best one. It's the best one. And it's this man. It's Munoz. This man has led a turn not unlike what we saw with Precision Railroad. With CSX.
Hunter Harrison originally.
Hunter Harrison, yeah.
Hunter Harrison.
And Oscar has done a remarkable job on time. The stock is the best rail. It's by far the best airline. By the way, it used to be Gary Kelly. It used to be, they have the worst exposure to Boeing, and they're too Texas-oriented. When the Dallas Federal Reserve yesterday came out with some really bad service numbers, really bad. I think Continental is attractive because oil's down. United Continental. But the market has got this incredible gloom. And if it's a transport, well, there's an ETF for everything that you can short.
That's for sure.
Oh, man. I'm just still stuck on the whole consumer thing. I mean, listen, if you look at the 10-year bond yield, it's telling you something, I guess. It
sure is telling you something. But it's not
telling you maybe what Manny Tirico's talking about. I don't know. Beyond just business.
Manny came on last quarter, and he said things are good. And they were.